The Member of Parliament for Akrafum constituency in the Ashanti region, Joseph Azuma, has warned he will not contest the 2028 parliamentary elections if the deplorable roads in the area are not constructed as promised. The NDC lawmaker stated that road construction was a central campaign pledge before the 2024 elections and that failing to honor it would betray the trust of constituents. He noted that the entire district currently lacks tarred roads, severely affecting transportation and causing post-harvest losses for farmers. Mr. Azuma recently visited the roads minister with traditional leaders to push for the projects. While the works have been captured in the government's budget, he insisted that visible construction is essential, describing the road issue as the most pressing concern and a make-or-break matter for the party's political future in Akrafum ahead of 2028. The government has assured Ghanaians that the price of fugu will not increase despite a new policy encouraging citizens to wear the traditional fabric every Wednesday, a move expected to boost demand. Trade Minister Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjei gave the assurance after meeting with the Smock Weavers Association to discuss scaling up production. She stated she is averse to price increments and is facilitating support to ensure prices remain affordable. The minister emphasized the ministry's commitment to promoting made-in-Ghana products and confirmed that production will be expanded to meet anticipated demand while keeping the fabric accessible to consumers. Minority Leader Alexander Afenio-Markin has criticized the Mahama administration's 24-hour economy policy, describing it as a campaign slogan rather than a viable economic initiative. Speaking on Channel 1 TV, the Afutu MP questioned the need for a new bill to establish a 24-hour economy authority, calling it an unnecessary bureaucracy. He argued that job creation should focus on the private sector, not government institutions. Afenio-Markin urged the government to strengthen existing programs like the One District, One Factory initiative and ease import taxes for businesses rather than creating new structures. He expressed concern over uncertainty in the private sector and called for practical policy direction. The Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, has issued a strong public warning following a viral video allegedly showing beans being preserved with cement or other unapproved substances. In a February 16 statement, the FDA clarified that the footage does not represent approved agricultural practices in Ghana. The authority noted that the language spoken in the video does not appear to be Ghanaian, and the methods shown, including applying chemicals with bare hands and standing directly on food, violate basic food safety guidelines. The FDA reiterated that using cement for food preservation is strictly prohibited under Ghana's regulations and emphasized its commitment to protecting public health. The Togolese Union of Hospital Practitioners, SINFOT, has expressed concern over the prolonged delay in publishing results of a recruitment exam for 2,000 health workers, held over 8 months ago. The union warns the delay is worsening severe staffing shortages in public health facilities, many of which are struggling to meet patient needs due to lack of qualified personnel. Spokesperson Gilbert Solonianu stated the union has repeatedly contacted the health minister for clarification and warned that protest actions may be considered if no swift solution is found. The situation has reignited debate over recruitment management in the health sector amid urgent demand for trained medical staff. Journalist Roger Amemevo says he has faced repeated, almost daily threats since airing a report on poor living conditions in Lake Cope, a suburb of Lomé. In a video published Monday, he described living under pressure following the broadcast. The report prompted swift government intervention to ease tensions, but the day after it aired, Amemevo was summoned by media regulator HAAC for what officials called advice. While he described the meeting as friendly, some media outlets viewed it as intimidation. Amemevo has ruled out going into exile, unlike some colleagues who left after covering sensitive issues, and appealed to national and international opinion, the press, and human rights organizations to bear witness. He warned those behind the threats that harming him would not improve their situation, and alluded to the involvement of unnamed judicial figures. Togo's Agricultural Transformation Agency, ATA, has launched a recruitment campaign for 153 fixed-term positions from March to July 2026, as part of expanding its mechanization programs. Since 2023, the ATA has supported over 10,000 producers through mechanization and technical assistance. The new openings include 24 supervisors for rural mechanized works enterprises and 139 tractor operators. Candidates for supervisor roles require agronomy or rural engineering training and coordination experience, while tractor operators need strong machinery operation and maintenance skills. Created in 2022, the ATA aims to modernize agriculture through mechanization, contract farming, and value chain development to boost productivity, increase farmers' incomes, and strengthen food security. Togolese authorities have launched a process to update databases for pineapple, mango, maize, soy, and cassava value chains, aimed at strengthening sector organization and boosting competitiveness. A recent workshop in Lomé, led by the Agriculture Ministry with support from Procomp, brought together stakeholders to review membership criteria for professional groups within these chains. The initiative supports broader goals of improving food security, developing agro-industries, and creating jobs. The updated databases will enable more accurate identification of actors, better organization of interprofessional bodies, and effective coordination of interventions. Data collected will also support rollout of agroecological and climate-smart innovations. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ikun, has urged the ECOWAS Court of Justice to collaborate with member states in developing a uniform procedure for enforcing its judgments across the region. She warned that inconsistent enforcement practices undermine the court's authority and weaken citizens' confidence in regional justice. Speaking at a bilateral meeting in Abuja attended by ECOWAS Court President Justice Edward Amoako Asante, the CJN acknowledged the court's landmark human rights decisions but noted their impact is limited when executive branches fail to implement them. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai could face up to 2 years in prison if convicted on fresh cybercrime charges filed by the Department of State Services, DSS. The charges stem from his alleged admission on live television that he listened to recordings of National Security Advisor Nuhu Rabadu's private conversations obtained through illegal phone tapping. The 3-count charge, filed at the Federal High Court in Abuja, cites provisions of the Cybercrimes Act 2024 and Nigerian Communications Act 2003. Prosecutors allege El-Rufai confessed during an Arise TV interview on February 13th to unlawfully intercepting the NSA's communications, an offense under Section 12(1) of the Cybercrimes Act. Chairman of the Senate Committee on the North Central Development Commission, Titus Zam, says Kogi Central lawmaker Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is not a member of his committee, contrary to her claims. He said she was therefore not invited to the Commission's recent budget defense session and had no reason to expect her name on the attendance register. The clarification follows a confrontation at the National Assembly after Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan arrived for the NCDC budget defense and reportedly complained that her name was missing from the committee's attendance list. She later went to Zam's office to seek an explanation, leading to a heated exchange and a scuffle involving aides from both sides. In his statement, Zam insisted that committee membership is decided by the Senate Committee on Selection, not by regional entitlement. He noted that 2 other senators from Kogi State, Isa Jibrin and Sunday Karimi, are already on the NCDC committee, with Jibrin serving as his vice chairman. Zam accused Natasha of ignorantly assuming that being from the North Central Zone automatically qualifies her for a seat on the committee. He said he advised her to channel any grievances through the proper process by writing to the selection committee rather than disrupting committee activities. Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan, on her part, has described the incident as part of a wider pattern of marginalization in the Senate. She alleges that aides in Zam's office seized her media aide's phone and that efforts are being made by higher authority. Global oil prices have risen again following heightened threats from U.S. President Donald Trump against Iran, fueling fears of supply disruptions from the major crude producer. U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate climbed about 1.5% on Tuesday, with Brent North Sea crude also ticking higher. Late last month, Brent pushed above $70 per barrel for the first time since July as tensions escalated. Trump has repeatedly warned Iran to accept a new nuclear deal or face military strikes, boasting that a massive armada, led by the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group, is heading to the region. Traders fear any clash could disrupt crude exports or shipping through the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Russian and Ukrainian delegations are meeting in Geneva for another round of U.S.-mediated negotiations, days before the fourth anniversary of Moscow's full-scale invasion. Hopes for a breakthrough remain limited as both sides hold firm on territorial demands, Russia seeking sweeping concessions, Ukraine rejecting any formal loss of land. Fighting intensified ahead of the talks, with Russia launching roughly 400 drones and nearly 30 missiles across 12 Ukrainian regions, killing at least 3. Ukraine responded with drone strikes inside Russia, including a fire at an oil refinery. The U.S. delegation is led by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Ukraine's team includes National Security Council Secretary Rustem Umerov. Russia is represented by presidential aide Vladimir Medinsky.